Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So I'm really excited to see you guys here. We definitely have some big things coming. I'm really excited. Yeah, it's a good start. It's a good start. So you guys being here already shows that you guys are ready. You guys are the ones that are gonna take the initiative. You guys are the creators, and this is the group that we want to see. So for today's workshop, definitely you guys could scan this QR code. It's gonna give you the whole PDF of what I'm gonna discuss throughout the entire presentation, and you guys could just follow along. So yeah, today's focus is gonna be artificial intelligence tools for school. So that could mean anything, meaning like it could mean anything from research, studying, personal projects, and you know, most of these tools you can apply them outside of school as well. So if you own a business, you could definitely use these tools to grow your business, etc. So cool. So just to do a little overview, this is going to be sort of a table of contents for the whole presentation. So I'll start off by saying a little bit about myself. We'll go into exploring the most significant tools, namely 3 significant tools. I'll do an example and I'll do a little comparison for you guys to see which tools are the best. We'll explore some more tools. We'll do a little recap, and then we'll dive into projects, and we'll have a little discussion, and we'll do a Q&A in the end for any questions. So yeah, let's jump right in. So yeah, my name is Andranik. I'm a first-year computer science student. Like most transfer students, I would really ideally want to get into a UC. So yeah, essentially, I really wanted to be a part of this club to prove my interest to these schools, because I found that it's really hard to sort of be in a club and just like not really being able to do any projects and stuff like that. So yeah, I wanted to also help in giving you guys the opportunity in joining in on projects and learning more about AI in general. So my main interests surrounding AI include natural language processing and expert systems. Well, those are things that would definitely, like, if you guys, that sounds like gibberish, like that's completely okay. We're definitely gonna like dive into that in the future. So yeah, I do have some experience using AI tools in research papers. For example, I did a math project using statistical AI tools to essentially compile all of my data and make it much easier for me to do my research. And yeah, some of these tools, that's exactly what it's gonna show you guys how to do. And I have some experience with building my own entry-level chatbot using Python. So yeah, that's just a little bit about myself. So the first tool I want to jump into is Cloud AI. So I'll be talking about the free versions of all of these tools. Most of these tools have paid versions as well, but you know, just for our case, we want to benefit off of the free versions. Why not? So yeah, we're gonna go with Cloud. So Cloud is a chatbot that's built by Anthropic, and it has different generative capabilities, such as if you ask it to get you any prompt or get you any answer to any of your questions, it can essentially do that. So this means anything ranging from literature, it could mean mathematics, and yeah, we're definitely gonna do an example with Cloud. And one of the key features that Cloud has is that you can input an image and it can analyze an image for you. So I know some questions, for example, in history, there are a lot of questions that require you to sort of analyze a political cartoon, for example. Cloud is going to do exactly that for you. It's going to do the research for you. It's going to basically help you analyze any images. And you could even put this presentation into Cloud and it could give you a summary of the entire presentation, which I think is very efficient and pretty cool. So yeah. ChatGPT 3.5 is the next free tool. Ooh, something I forgot to mention. So you'll see that I have the ranking posted at the very top of the screen. And this is based on a website called lmysy.org. Let me double check that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, lmsys.org. And essentially that website gives a ranking of the top chatbots that are up to date. So that's what the ranking is based off, and these rankings are also based off of an ELO system. So yeah, so the ELO system basically sort of measures how good each chatbot is, and yeah, so this is ranked number 1. It's the best. So something else I also wanted to talk about. How many of you guys actually use AI in your day-to-day lives? Can I get a show of hands? Nice, pretty much everybody in the room. So yeah, this presentation is going to be really good for those of you who do like using AI, and those of you who don't, maybe you might want to indulge. So we'll see. So ChatGPT 3.5. This is an OpenAI chatbot that is quite similar to Cloud. We'll see that most of the tools are quite similar in its generative capabilities. What makes ChatGPT stand out is that ChatGPT 3.5 stand out is that it's built off of a large data set comparatively to its alternatives. So what that means is that ChatGPT 3.5 might be much more proficient in things like literature, where it could recognize broader historical context, and sort of because of how broad the data set was for its training. So yeah, I would use ChatGPT 3.5 to find themes of short stories, articles, and other forms of media because of its larger data set. So Gemini is formerly known as XBARD. It's Bard, and this is built by Google. So this is Google's chatbot, which has similar capabilities to ChatGPT and Cloud once again. So what's different from Gemini is that it can actually generate images. So we talked about how Cloud can analyze images, but Gemini can actually produce images based on whatever you want it to generate. So Gemini was proven to be actually more proficient in math and physics, and a study done by EM360 Tech actually showed that it performed out of 30 of the 32 academic benchmarks in reasoning and understanding. Gemini actually performed, much better than ChatGPT. So yeah, definitely I would use this for math and physics and topics that require high-level reasoning. So we can get into some of the examples, and I'm going to do 2 examples. I'm going to go over literature proficiency and mathematical proficiency. So let's jump right in. So essentially what I did with these examples was I asked these 3 tools the same exact prompt, and essentially we got different outputs. So I wanted to analyze those outputs. So I asked it to help me understand derivatives. So, derivatives are probably something that most of us are going to go through if we're taking math in college. And yeah, what I found with Gemini was that, here, we could actually see exactly what the outputs were. And I will open ChatGPT here. So the thing with Gemini is that it gave a very accurate and a very efficient response, which means that it was very short and concise. Now this could mean 2 things. It could be that maybe if you have a background in doing derivatives, for example, you might be able to comprehend this information very easily. But if not, it might be quite hard, which may be why ChatGPT might be better for you, because ChatGPT gives a broader answer with multiple talking points. We find that it gives different types of definitions, but we do find that it's less mathematical, it's more theoretical, and ChatGPT 3.5 gave more theoretical answers. So the highlight with Cloud was that this was the only one that actually gave the mathematical definition of a derivative. So this gave the limit definition of a derivative, And the reason why that's helpful is that it gives a visual and it gives a mathematical understanding, which does vary from the other tools. So yeah, we also find that the structures were quite different. Like I mentioned, that ChatGPT 3.5 was just a bunch of text. So whether that's helpful or not, that's up for you to decide. But the main takeaway from this is that it's good to sort of analyze how the different tools might help you personally in your studying. So what I asked it next was for it to help me understand Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. So Shakespeare, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's quite hard to understand some of Shakespeare's writings. So I might need AI tools to help understand it. So yeah, upon asking ChatGPT to analyze the poem, I found that Gemini gave a sort of line-by-line breakdown of the poem's meaning. So this is, of course, extremely beneficial because it tells you it basically dumbs it down to English. Even though William Shakespeare did write in modern day English, some of the verbiage varies. But we find that Cloud, it broke it into quatrains. So what this means is that we find that the structure of the different AI, so Cloud went more in depth on the actual formatting of the poem, and it basically sort of broke it down into something that's more human, where if we're trying to analyze a poem at a high level, breaking it down into quatrains might be actually much more beneficial than having it line by line, as we're able to comprehend things at sort of a larger, we're able to take away the broader context of each segment of the poem. So ChatGPT 3.5, we found that like the mathematical breakdown, it just gave a bunch of text. So this can also be beneficial, as the text meaning is actually quite beneficial. It tells you the themes, it tells you the breakdown of the themes, whereas the other two tools didn't really go as in depth. So yeah, essentially the key takeaways I will be mentioning now. So for ChatGPT 3.5, how did it stand out? It had an ability to provide specific answers to niche subjects. So this is based on my personal experience with using these tools as well, alongside this example. So yeah, we do find that ChatGPT 3.5 has more specific answers to whatever projects you might, or whatever questions you might really have that might not be very mainstream. So it does lack in high-level mathematical reasoning, however, because as we saw with the example, it gave no sort of actual answer as to what a mathematical derivative was. It just sort of gave some theoretical answers. But yeah, in short, it does have quite a simple UI. It has a quite simple interface, and it's easy to use. You just sign up, you type in the prompt, like all of them. But yeah, it's definitely one of the more popular ones. So Cloud 3 Sonnet, its strength was that it had an ability to generate responses based on images, which does stand out from the other tools that I mentioned so far. So that's definitely a big one. But it does lack in using context to find what answer will best suit your question. However, I will say that Cloud 3 Sonnet is knowledgeable compared to the other two tools mentioned. So Gemini has an ability to accurately and efficiently provide results alongside image generation. So although I didn't provide an example of the image generation, it does have capabilities where you could ask it to generate a family in a car, for example, for whatever reason, and it can actually do that for you. So, however, something that it does lack is its ability to correctly portray images of people. So, Google had this sort of scandal where essentially Gemini was kind of racist. Like it would only generate images of minorities, and it would actually be unable to generate images of white people, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, this is AI, so it's still in the works. It just shows that like it's still in the works. And even now, if you go on Gemini and actually search up and ask it to generate you an image of a white person, it'll say, or actually any race now, because it's like they're like redoing it. It'll just say, I'm actually unable to do that for you right now. So yeah, I think that's kind of funny. So just to show you guys a bit of a quantitative study, this is actually straight off of Cloud's website itself. So take this with a little bit of grain of salt. You feel me? It's definitely not the most unbiased source, but yeah, we do find numbers don't lie, so we can look at these 3 columns over here that I'm highlighting. Can you guys see that? Yeah. So yeah, essentially we find that Cloud 3 Sonnet beats Gemini 1.0 Pro and GPT 3.5 in most of the categories, if not all of them. And yeah, essentially the key takeaway from everything that we've done so far is that Cloud 3 has the best generative capabilities, and yeah, thus far, me personally using it as well, I feel like Cloud 3 does have just better responses, well-rounded responses. So some of the other tools that I really wanted to mention that I feel like could apply to different majors. So who in here does like, oh, we have some film people in here, so yeah, that's good. So yeah, does anybody in here do like content or anything? Do you guys make videos? You make videos? So yeah, you make also videos. Yeah, that's so yeah, this tool, essentially you could give it any sort of text and it'll create a video for you, and it could also edit your videos for you. So AI in editing, how cool is that? Like, that's completely new. But yeah, essentially it can literally convert any type of presentation, any type of source that you tell it to. It could create a video for you. Like yeah. You have a question?
Does it make a video with sound or just?
Yeah, with sound. So yeah, so it'll actually give you it'll give an avatar of a person speaking, like an artificial intelligence, like AI just speaking. And you can actually customize the avatar. So I believe you could like change the voice, you could change how the person looks on the screen. But yeah, this is actually an example of what the people like look like. So yeah, they basically put all the themes that you're looking for into a video. For example, the construction ones, it has like a construction like helmet on, so it's pretty funny. But yeah, this one's a pretty good one for those who do video editing, visual effects, and content creation. So GitHub Copilot. How many of you guys are coders in here? Coders? Cool, sounds good. So yeah, this one is definitely one for you guys, and specific to you guys, because GitHub Copilot is essentially the collaboration between GitHub and OpenAI, and this tool can essentially fill in the blanks for whatever code you're trying to input. So it reads your files, it reads what you're trying to do with your code, and it basically fills in the blanks for you. So this is really good for if you're a beginner coder and you don't really maybe you get a little confused at one section and you're not sure if you did it right. Well, GitHub, the GitHub Copilot has your back because it assists you in efficiently and correctly writing code. So yeah, this is an extension via the Visual Studio Code so that's how you can access it. But yeah, I would use this tool when practicing coding and attempting personal projects, because I find that even when I attempt my own personal projects, I might have a little trouble with that. So yeah, so some other ones I wanted to highlight were Quillbot and Twin GPT, which I will talk about in the next slide. So these tools are primarily used for as paraphrasing devices and humanizers. So it's important to sort of underscore that these tools shouldn't be used for like telling it to generate you an answer to it like an essay prompt or something. That's like the last thing we want to use this for because that is cheating, that's plagiarism. But what we can use Quillbot for is sort of rephrasing what you're trying to say. So what if you're trying to send an email to your professor about a letter of recommendation and you're copying and pasting, like trying to send it to 3 different professors? Well, this might save you some time if you want to rephrase some of the words. But yeah, essentially this should be used if you want to like paraphrase, if you want to understand something differently, this is the AI tool that you would use. And alongside paraphrasing and rephrasing things, it can actually serve as a grammar enhancer. So essentially you could like put the mode at the top, so it says standard, fluency, formal, academic, and it'll provide you synonyms for different words that you want to use. So yeah, that could be quite beneficial. Yes?
I know that the language generators often insert errors into their findings, like hallucinate. Does this do that?
Yeah, so what we'll find is that with most of the AI tools, they do sound very AI. So that's another reason why you wouldn't want to solely rely on AI to like write your essay for you or do a research paper for you.
But I mean like factual errors.
So yeah, definitely factual errors is something that's also a limitation to these AI tools, to all of these AI tools, because at the end of the day, it is based on, AI is based on whatever we give it. So, it's not gonna know the facts until we tell it, and yeah, and it does have, you gotta take the responses with a grain of salt, once again. So yeah, that's a good point, I'm glad you mentioned that. So I just wanted to show something with Quillbot where if you were to use something such as 0GPT, which is an AI detector, this is the before and after of the text that I used for the example. So I generated the example with AI, of course, and I used Quillbot to modify the response and rephrase the response. And this actually significantly reduced the AI detection of the response. So I think that's pretty cool, but yeah, definitely don't use this trying to submit it like to teachers. They're still gonna know. So, but yeah, just a cool little feature. But definitely in the future, I would be interested in. We'll talk about this in the end. So cool. So yeah, Twain GPT. Also very similar to Quillbot. It has a UI more similar to ChatGPT where it's more generative. So you give it what you have, and then it's gonna enhance it for you. It's gonna switch up the words. It's gonna paraphrase for you. And yeah, this is more of a communication and outreach tool, just like Quillbot, where you wouldn't really use this for your essays. You would use this for if you're emailing somebody and you want to switch up the tone based on who the person is. So yeah, same sort of comparison that we did with Quillbot, except this one is crazy. Like the whole AI generated email basically turned like completely human according to 0GPT, which is supposed to be the strongest AI detector tool. So yeah, definitely this Twain GPT is a crazy one. I don't know how it does it, but it essentially just makes your emails sound more human. So yeah, if you use a ChatGPT to write an email, maybe run it through Twain GPT to make it more humanized. So yeah. So the key takeaways, Gemini, Cloud 3 Sonnet, and GitHub Copilot are largely for STEM. So if you're a STEM major, these are the ones that you want to use. If your major is in the humanities or is content creation, if you're looking for something like that, it's going to be ChatGPT 3.5 and DeepBrain AI. Communication assistants and AI humanizers is going to be Quillbot and Twain GPT. So I wanted to jump into the future projects and stuff. So yeah, like I mentioned with 0GPT, I didn't actually add this on the slide, but it really made me think about it that, how cool would it be to make our own AI detector where it could detect, if we could run something through ChatGPT, ChatGPT, ChatGPT 3.5 and recognize it ourselves that it's actually AI. I feel like that would be a pretty cool project. But So yeah, essentially, some projects I had in mind were stock market predictions.